What is capitalism's greatest trick? Solving a problem? No. It's packaging a problem and selling it back to you as a solution. As we move toward 2026, a massive global game is quietly collapsing in plain sight. Companies told you they were carbon neutral. They told you you were saving the planet when you bought a paper straw. But behind the green logos and comforting labels was one of the biggest and most profitable illusions in modern financial history. Today, we expose how corporations sold thin air, how trillions of dollars disappeared into a so-called green solution, and why this entire market is now on the verge of collapse. This is the story of the carbon credit scam.
Every system has an origin story, and every scam has an original sin. This one begins in 1997 in Kyoto. World leaders were under pressure. Climate change was becoming impossible to ignore, but shutting down factories or limiting growth felt like economic suicide. So a new idea emerged. What if pollution didn't have to stop? What if it could be traded? They called it cap and trade, a market-based solution to climate change. It sounded logical, elegant even. But here's the part rarely mentioned. One of the companies that lobbied hardest for this system was Enron. Yes, that Enron. The same Enron behind one of the largest accounting frauds in history. Their vision wasn't environmental salvation, it was financial opportunity. They wanted to turn emissions into a brand new class of tradable assets, derivatives made out of the atmosphere itself. Enron collapsed, but the idea survived. And today, we are still living with the system they helped design.
Fast forward to today. Imagine you're a massive oil, airline, or manufacturing company. Your emissions are enormous. Your public image is under fire. Investors are asking uncomfortable questions. You now face two choices. Option A, spend billions of dollars retooling factories, changing supply chains, and actually reducing emissions. Option B, spend a few $1,000,000 buying something called a carbon credit, and instantly declare yourself carbon neutral. Guess which option most companies choose? Carbon credits became the system's magic button. Pay the fee, offset the guilt, keep operating as usual. But for this system to work, there's one crucial rule. It's called additionality. The idea is simple. The money from carbon credits must fund projects that would not exist without that money. Forests that were truly at risk. Emissions that would have happened otherwise. And this is exactly where the system began to break.
Here's what many brokers and project developers actually did. They searched for forests that were already protected. National parks, remote rainforests, land that was never realistically going to be cut down. Then they sold a story. They told corporations, this forest is under threat, pay us and we'll protect it. But the forest was never in danger. Nothing was prevented, nothing was reduced. Companies weren't paying to save trees, they were paying for certificates. These credits became known as phantom credits. On paper, emissions were offset. In reality, nothing changed. Corporations received clean reputations, middlemen collected commissions, marketing departments added green labels. Everyone won, everyone, except the planet. And for years, this system ran almost entirely on trust, until journalists started asking difficult questions.
In 2023, a joint investigation by The Guardian and Source Material dropped a bombshell. After 9 months of analysis, they examined projects certified by Verra, the world's largest carbon credit standard. The results were staggering. More than 90% of Verra's rainforest credits were found to lack real environmental benefit. Over 9 out of 10 credits were effectively worthless. Not a small flaw, not a few bad actors. This suggested a systemic failure. The fallout was immediate. Verra's CEO resigned. Major corporations quietly removed carbon-neutral claims from their websites. Marketing language changed overnight. But the money? The trillions already spent didn't come back. So where did it go?
In a market this large, money doesn't simply vanish. Investigations revealed many questionable carbon projects were operated through opaque corporate structures, often registered in tax havens, shell companies, layered ownership, minimal transparency. Tracing where the money actually went became nearly impossible. Developers, consultants, and intermediaries made millions. Meanwhile, local communities often received only a fraction of what was promised, if anything at all. This wasn't just an environmental failure, it was a failure of governance, of financial oversight, of accountability. And investors began to notice. When trust disappears, markets don't decline slowly. They collapse.
Which brings us to 2026. The illusion is finally cracking. The European Union is rolling out some of the toughest anti-greenwashing regulations in history. Companies can no longer claim to be green simply by buying offsets. They must prove real emissions reductions. At the same time, major banks and investment funds are quietly dumping carbon credit exposure from their portfolios. Prices are falling, Demand is drying up. Confidence is gone. This isn't the collapse of climate action. It's the collapse of a fake solution, a painful but necessary reset.
The lesson here is uncomfortable, but simple. Capitalism is incredibly good at packaging guilt and selling it back to you as progress. But real change can't be outsourced. It can't be offset with paperwork. And it can't be bought for pennies on the dollar. Real solutions are expensive. They're difficult, and they require transparency, accountability, and genuine innovation. So the next time you see a carbon neutral label, ask yourself, is this real change or just a modern indulgence? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to understand the next financial bubble already forming beneath the surface, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.